2, 3. Ah!
What?
You know, the normal opening to every video.
Hello, Evil Cheese followers. We are back from the con, and we survived. We survived, and we played some games, and that led us to one of the games that we played at the con, and have kind of been test playing for a few weeks here.
Yeah,
that game is Wroth.
Wroth. Is that just wrath in British?
Yeah, I wondered if there was a reason for calling it
I'm so full of Wroth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it a British maker?
I don't think so. Chip Theory
Chip
Games. I think they're American based, but I don't know. It's unique. I remember the name.
Yes, me too. Yes, and the colors.
Yep.
And just one other note, why are we all wearing winter coats? The heat is not working in the studio today, which has been an off and on problem. But
Evil Cheese is so committed
to
quality.
Cheese.
We're not going to let a thing like heat, food, water, shelter, these kinds of things stop us.
We're about the
cheese
kings.
is actually preserved in the cold. So...
cool and dry places. Here we are.
All right, so to Wroth, Casey will have you do an overview right now.
Hello, and welcome to a quick gameplay overview of Wroth, a 1 to 4 player territory control and dice drafting game from Chip Theory Games. You'll see we have a brightly colored mat here with a bunch of pieces on it and stuff. In Wroth, each player is going to be taking control of a faction, and each faction is very unique and has its own abilities and units, and they're going to be moving them around the board here in order to take control of these various regions in order to gain points and move up on the score track over here. In order to do that, the turns are actually pretty simple because all the players are going to be using this pool of action dice. And the lead player each round is going to roll all of these, and then they're going to have the first pick of which action they want to take. And that's going to move around the board, each player taking an action until each player has 2 actions to do on their turn. And the remaining dice, usually there's 1 remaining based on the number of players, that goes to the player who's in last place. So they're going to get an extra action every round in order to try and make up some of the difference on the score track there. These dice have a few actions on them, mainly being things like moving your units from one region to an adjacent region. Some allow you to attack a region that's next door. Some allow you to gain gems, which are the currency of the game and are used to purchase your elite units. I'll talk about those here in a minute. Or you can reinforce troops you already have on the board, sending troops that you have to where you already have units that are out there. So those are the main actions. Each player will also have an all-seeing die, which have similar actions to the other ones but are extra powerful, like attack someone anywhere on the map or double an action that you just took. And they're going to be rolling those each round as well. You can spend your gems, like I was talking about, in order to send out elite units. And this is the health on there, so as they get damaged, they'll get reduced in that way. And almost every elite troop has special bonuses, like being able to be deployed to where enemies are, or some have an extra amount of health, like these guys have 5 health, so they're harder to take down when attacking. After all the players have done all their actions, you'll figure out who controls each region of the map. And randomly at the beginning of the game, these little tokens are put into each region, and that determines what you gain by controlling that region at the end of the round. Many of them are simply points from 1 to 3, but some also give you bonus actions when you start the next round. So this would give me a point at the end of the round, and then I get to attack if I'm controlling that region at the beginning of the next round. So the setup is on paper pretty simple. You're moving your guys around, you're taking control of the spots. But each faction has unique abilities that you can use. Some cost the currency to do. Each unit is very specialized. And then each faction also has 3 of these power-up cards, which you'll choose at the beginning of the game. Some are either passives that remain throughout the whole thing and give you extra benefits. But others are a one-time per game use ability. And these can really swing things. Some of these are like put out a ton of units. Some of them are like resurrect a bunch of your units that have already been destroyed. Some let you steal from other players their gems and stuff. So these can be a big factor in terms of the outcome of the game. The base game, you play until someone has reached 30 points or more, and then whoever has the highest amount of points at the end of that round wins the game. But I also mentioned there's a one-player or a cooperative mode, and this comes with the base game as well, which gives you kind of a co-op scenario to work through, and each one has its own setup and win condition. So there's a lot of variety to both the factions and what the players are doing in the game, and has a decent amount of replay value. So there's a quick gameplay overview of Wroth.
There it is.
All right, thank you, Casey.
Now you know everything about Wroth.
So, kind of the overview of Wroth, the gameplay, the components. What do you guys want to talk about first?
Let's talk about components first, because it's kind of right in your face.
Yes, yes.
The first thing you'll notice opening this box is
Highlighter colors.
Gigabright, play mats for the factions and for the map and stuff. So it does have kind of a unique appearance, and that's probably the first thing you notice.
It was striking at the con. We would walk by, you could see from a ways away.
Yeah.
They're playing Wroth.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you can definitely spot it from a distance, and you know
Lots
exactly
of
what it is.
Colors of things. Yeah. So, and I would say, they've got custom dice, which are fun and nice to use for that. Each faction has its own dice, and they're bold colors, and that's
dice
fun.
look great, and I like them a lot because they are functional and it keeps it compact.
Yeah.
A game like this could have been gigantic with miniatures and different molds and models, which is fine, but like.
And the tokens
have their own
are
units.
different. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but it's like a little hand for one of them. Another one is like a leaf. Another one is like a sword in the ground. Another one is like a little bear or wolf head.
Yeah.
They're not like generically boring, but they're not like overcomplicated miniatures.
Yeah. It's like a abstract representation of your faction.
Right.
So like if you're like this guy, he's like a bear, bulky guy. He's connected to bear, so his
You got the little bear cup guys.
The Ooglin, you could see one of their abilities is parasite, and it's like a claw hand thing. So
sort of an undead
they've got
necromancer
the
guy.
claw hand.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yeah, so
Which
I
is
would
cool.
say a unique style and a unique look to the game.
And it is neoprene mat-wise, which is pretty typical for Chip Theory, and they look and feel great.
Yeah.
Great.
It helps kind of keep things organized too. So you first look at this and I see the colors. It makes me think of like a cutesier kind of game. Like I would see this more for like an Evertale or something. But I think it has the function of keeping things organized. So like bright green, I know my bright green units are going to go on my bright green mat, and I know exactly when I'm looking at this board who's where and who's doing what.
Yes.
Which I think helps facilitate sort of the gameplay of it, and just keeping things organized both in the box and when you have it on the table.
Yeah, it's a fairly quick setup and a fairly quick put away, which I think is always a key to components.
Right.
What's the price point on the box?
I think 60, most places for retail. So not terrible, but not ultra cheap either.
It's kind of a midpoint.
It is,
but
and
it
I
could
think
have
you
been
get a
so
decent
much
amount
worse.
out of it.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, true. It could have been giant minis. This thing could have been twice the size. They could have gone a lot of ways with blowing this up. Because at its heart, this is a territory control and dice drafting game.
Yeah.
Get your units out there, score points for where they go, stop other people from gaining too many points from where they are.
Yep.
So the core of it is relatively simple in terms of what you're doing. The flavor all comes in from everything else.
Right.
All the factions, how the units are different, and the superpower things, which are kind of wild in terms of how those make the game change. So should we talk about the gameplay a little bit then?
Yeah. So we've got what is it? 5 of the factions.
So the base game comes with 5 factions. There are 2 additional ones you can buy separately on their own. They're like their own pack with their own setup, their own mat, all their units and stuff. So you can add to this quite easily. Cool. I think those are around $20 for each one. But I think there's also space in the box for them. So
that's
like
nice.
You can add their tokens right in.
So it doesn't make it
together.
bulkier or more difficult to handle.
Yeah, so it'd be an easy addition to do. But yeah, like right out of the gate, what were your expectations? Had you heard of Wroth before we played it? Did you know
I heard
anything about it?
I didn't really know anything about it.
Okay.
And when we first started playing and set it up, my mind immediately went to something like Blood Rage.
Okay. Territory control.
Yeah, territory control, deploying units from outside to inside, special faction powers, without the drafting, obviously. Of course, it was just like more of the gameplay-ish kind of part. Now, it's not a one-to-one Blood Rage thing, but I think it is in the same Venn diagram.
It does have that sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
For me as well. Scott, had you heard anything or know anything?
No, I didn't know
a
thing about it when we played it. Okay. So, and I definitely felt like, for me, like there's that superpower aspect. There's your elite units. And how you balance those things, I think, very significantly determines your success in the game.
Yeah.
And what I discovered when playing it the second time is that this is not so much a combat game, despite it being armies that are seizing control. You'll occasionally eliminate a guy or two, but it's the most effective way is just piling your guys on there as much as possible, which left me, and I wonder the reaction I'm going to get when I say this. I started having flashbacks to playing Risk when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
In that, there were
sort of the
piles
OG
of
territory
guys.
control.
Yes, the piles of guys, and then I'm shifting them all over in these different places. I started getting flashbacks to Risk in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Good flashbacks, or were you like, maybe I don't want to play this?
Not that I don't want to play it, but in a way, I was like, this isn't as innovative as a game as what maybe I initially thought it would be. That I've had these feels before, and I've kind of done this dance before.
There's been a lot of Risk variants over the years. I mean, it's been around forever, and so territory control is a pretty well established genre in terms of a board game. So yeah, I could see that too. But like even Blood Rage and other things like that, you'll get a similar feel from as well.
Yep.
So being the theme guy, did that stand out at all? I mean, it's basically factions. There's not really a story to it. It's like control the land.
No, I liked the art. I don't know if you guys can see the art well on there. The art is really evocative and cool. I think, sometimes like I'm a visual person, and it's like if the picture is lame, it's like then I'm visualizing myself as this lame person, right? Yeah. And the fact that it's cool, and you're like, I
love the art,
or and so the art is limited, but I think stylistically, I really like that. So, and it was fun too. We've played it a few times. It's been fun to try some of the different factions, and I don't feel like you completely explore each faction on each individual gameplay. That it's like, wow, I really used a lot of this elite unit, but I didn't use many of this, or oh wow, I didn't use my other power as much as I could have. And then there's different ultimate powers and that kind of thing too. So
yeah, I think that layer really helps this from getting stale, where like Risk might, you kind of do what you do every time.
It's obviously an evolution past that with theme and different, kind of things. It's just I remember last time, we had, like, I had emptied all of my troops were on, and I just remember, like, shifting them
we're all going,
moving them, and I was just like, I remember doing this in Risk before I flipped the table over.
And that was the end of that game.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when I picked it up, I had a couple of goals and reasons I got it. One was people were raving about it. Like, it made a lot of top 10 lists and stuff over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and so I was like, people are loving this, so I kind of want to see what all the hoopla is about. And then another reason I got it is because it has a lot of dice.
Yes,
Which, if you watched it all,
the hunt for dice.
I don't love dice, but I like when dice games work. And I think this one does. Because you're not just rolling random dice to add RNG to whatever's going on.
Right.
You're drafting them, and so there's a lot of control over what am I taking and what am I giving up to my opponents.
Right.
It's
versus just roll and see what happens.
for the amount of dice that there is, they're really not really operational as dice.
Right.
They are tokens.
They're
they
counters.
are multiple-sided tokens and counters. The rolling of dice is a very limited component, which when you look at all the dice initially, you're like, oh my god, we are going to be rolling this dice, But you really roll one group of dice, and then you all select out of there. So the roll of the dice, which I think is where your hatred comes in, being this huge determinative or swinging factor, doesn't take place in this game.
Right.
No.
Yeah, really the only one is the all-seeing die, which you roll each time, and that's the only one you're kind of locked into, like, well, this is going to do the thing, and that's it.
Right.
But you also have some control of how you utilize your dice, because you only get a couple actions. Like, you draft around, and you're only doing two things in a round on your turn.
That's right.
So it goes pretty quick. I'm going to move these guys here. That was my whole turn. Then I'm going to use this dice, and I'm going to attack that guy. That's it. So there's not a whole lot going on in terms of the actions. It's how you're doing everything else with where are my elite units going, where do I want those units, and how do I whittle down? Because like you said, there's not a whole lot of removal. There's a lot more moving and placing guys than there is like, I destroy all this stuff. So it's more about where you are and sort of tipping that scale of, I just need one more unit more than you do to control this spot. So I need to really just kill a single guy there or something.
Yeah, so it's not about control in that I've eliminated all of the other people. It's just, I have more people than you. So how do you achieve that? You can either eliminate some people, but it feels like the elimination powers are much weaker than the I can get
everybody goes.
6 or 7 guys all in this place, and you only got 3, so I win, right? Or I get the points that round. You just have to have more than them. You don't have to eliminate everybody else to seize control.
Right. And that's going to be that's not obvious though on its face when you first play, I think.
Right.
Because you kind of have that impulse of like, I want to kill and
eliminate
fight
this
you.
and hold that.
And like you said, Scott, combat is really not the forefront. It's probably 30%, 40% of the game.
And again, some factions are better at it than others.
Right.
Like AoE damage.
But even the ones that are good at it, it's still not.
You're not going to be able to remove everything.
On the dice that you roll, there's a skull, and you remove one guy.
One damage. And sometimes elites only take one damage.
Right. And often in places you've got 10 guys.
And you're only drafting
two or three dice
a turn.
Whereas the ones that sort of like
enemies.
the recruit or bring in more guys, you bring in 2 or 3 at a time, and then you can also use any 2 dice. So this comes back into the rolling of the special dice. You could take any 2 dice and sort of say, I'm not going to use any ability, and I can move people anywhere. And so it's just like, boom, you can get people where you need them.
I'm giving up a couple actions to do a lot of movement on the board.
And so I liked the speed of it. I think the speed of it, I think I was like, at first when looking at it, you do not think this is a speedy game. And then, boom, 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 limited actions. They're quick. You only get a couple each turn. You go around, and then boom, it's the next thing.
And it has a good ramp up too. So at first, because you only get 2 or 3 actions on a turn, you're not scoring a bunch of points or controlling many areas, but then when you get to that 2nd, 3rd, 4th turn, you have an opportunity to control or take over numerous spots. So all of a sudden you'll be getting 5, 6, 7 points on a turn, and then you're at 30. Like that.
And I think a key part of that ramp up too, which keeps it exciting each time, are the superpowers. Each faction gets like either a persistent passive ability, which is pretty powerful because it's over the course of the whole game.
Right.
Or you get to pick a once per game like superpower.
Yeah, like nuke or whatever.
And the timing of that is very important because those are big game swingy activities.
Right.
So
and you can't wait
you got to pay attention.
Long
No.
either. That was sort of the mistake when I played the first time. It was like, when do I use this? When do I use this? Oh, its impact is kind of too late, and I'm too far behind.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would be. I guess if we want to kind of start, so we've said a lot of things that we like about it. Anything else that we kind of like about it? Because I was going to kind of start going into some criticisms or comments on that side of it.
I think you covered
I
it
have
pretty
too
good.
many cons. I mean, what are your biggest ones?
Well, I felt like in both times that we played, I felt like groups got ahead and were way ahead, and it was
snowballing.
like, and then it was like wow, I have no chance to catch up whatsoever, and I saw you guys feeling like that, and then it was you got put in a position where it was me. We had it was 5 people playing when we played at the con.
Yeah, I think we had the
And
well,
or 4.
It was 4.
4.
Yeah.
And you and Eric were kind of behind and had no chance to win, but you had your nuke power, and if you nuked your cousin, I was going to win. If you nuked me, your cousin was going to win, and that felt kind of wrong.
Yeah, none of my options led to my victory.
Yeah.
It was more me choosing who else was going to win, which feels like kind of a weird spot to be in.
I worry a little about the balance sometimes because it just feels like, if a group gets kind of a couple of areas, it's really hard to kind of root them out of there.
Because there's no big fight.
Right.
No big
Yeah.
combat.
Yeah.
You all got to kind of either team up to make that happen.
Yeah.
Or maybe the fact that the superpowers are so swingy, that balance becomes even more critical because if they're out of balance or they're misused, that just determines the whole game, and sometimes that feels bad to have that being the only determining factor.
Yes.
Versus everything else that happened.
Right.
Yeah. So that was something that I noticed, and obviously the first time I was on the crappy end of it, and the second time I was on the good end of it. And weirdly, I really enjoyed being on the winning end of it way more than I did being on the losing end of it. But yeah, I mean, I guess for me with like kind of that the discovering in the back of my mind, the risk comparison, I just kind of was like, oh, okay, I played this a few times, but this isn't a game like that I love or that can't wait to play or want to play the other time all the time. I appreciate the design, the efficiency with which it's played, but I'm not feeling too much like of a new, unique experience that this provides that other games don't.
Yeah, sure.
Daisy.
I like it, and I like it probably a little more than I thought I would going into it. And again, maybe that's just the army of dice that words scare me off a little bit, but they're not really dice, they're just units. I like the variety to it. I feel like the thing that will bring me back is seeing how the different factions interact and what those plays are. And there probably is a decent amount of like psychology to this too, of when you use your powers, and if someone's holding a point that's worth a lot of points, you got to be more active in stopping that from snowballing and stuff. So there's more like we can probably get out of it as players as well in terms of like how we participate.
Well, and it's a small board really that is very connected. And so you can get places fast, you can move people suddenly, and I think they must have designed it intentionally that way to just force the interaction as much as possible. And I do think that works.
I do too. I think that's one of its biggest pros is very condensed. Like coming back to play, it's going to be easy to do. It's easy to set up. It's under an hour to play. So if you did want to see more of what it has to offer, it's not hard to get to the table. So I think that's another benefit for it in terms of if we do it again, and how often you want to play it.
Totally. Here's what I'm going to say.
Yes.
I also like the game, but here's the thing. This game is a gamer's game. And it's a gamer's game because it is gaming something that like a gamer would like and not necessarily a casual person would like.
Right.
Okay, so explain that a little bit
I
more.
will. So this game is the main like flex of this game is like how good are you at like timing something? Like, and that is like something that like a gamer would like and not necessarily a regular person would.
How do you really take advantage of a situation?
If you're a gamer and you know this game and you break this out with somebody who's not a gamer, you're going to destroy them. Like, do you know what I mean? So
yes,
I understand
totally know what you mean,
why the people that like it love it, because it's probably very tense, very competitive if you're playing with people that also are like you really into this.
Yeah.
And so it's like, ooh, do I do this special ability now? Do I do that big 2 dice movement thing that's almost like an ultimate in itself sometimes? When do I do that? When do I time that? How does this faction interact with that faction as far as timing and subtlety, right? So that's kind of what you need to know, I think, going into this. If that doesn't sound fun or anything to you, I don't think you would like this at all.
Right. And I will say, for as simple as the setup it is, there is some complex thought process going into where am I going?
Sure.
How do I do that? When do I do that?
That's why gamers will like it, and also it's compact and quick, so you can get it out a lot. Yeah. That's why they like it too.
Yeah.
Small box. Yeah. One of the other things that I would say, when I was talking about sort of like somebody getting out to a big lead, we have also found that we think like the bear people, whatever they're called, the Coda or whatever, might be a little more powerful than the others. Right. There might be some balance.
Well, here's the thing, and then if you're playing with other people that know the game, maybe they know that too, and so you guys kind of gang up against them for a little bit, and then you back off. But you would only know that having played.
Right.
or have been into
this game probably really benefits from repeat plays and learning the ins and outs and kind of getting a feel for it and getting more out of it over time, which is kind of a good thing for a game to have, rather than, I played it once and I know everything about it.
Yeah.
It's, there's a lot more things I could do with this if I play it again.
Speaking of which, there is a co-op component. Casey, you and Erica played that. I've not. So if you guys want to speak a little to the co-op component and what you thought of that briefly.
So it comes in the base game, which is nice. And it does feel like sort of an afterthought to me, but it's not a bad afterthought. Like getting more out of a game for no additional cost never seems bad to me. But I feel like the multiplayer version worked a little better, but it does add a bunch of stuff to the game. So there's all these like scenario cards where you either alone, you can play it solo or as a team against the AI opponent. And the AI takes control of a faction, and then each one of these scenarios has its own setup and objective and rules for what the AI faction is doing over the course of its turns. And then everybody else is basically combating that.
Yeah.
So you're either racing for points, or some are just wipe everything off the map, or hold them off for a certain amount of time.
Speaking of which, why don't you just, I found it kind of hilarious, your guys' first co-op experience, which was kill everybody was the co-op thing. It's just like these two together have got to kill all of the other people, and you guys...
It was very easy.
Yes. You guys did that thoroughly and quickly.
Yeah. Which, I like the variety of it, because it plays very different than from the normal game. You don't care about points at all in that scenario. You just want to kill stuff the most you can. And it turns out we had a very easy way to do that, because we had a superpower that like blew up a whole spot.
Right.
And that was basically half the game.
Yep.
So I feel like these can be kind of hit or miss too, because they're all so different. Some might be very boring and quick. Some might be more involved and interesting, depending on what the setup is. But again, more variety.
That's right. I was just going to say that even if it's not like a home run, it's nice to have it included in the game as, hey, you know, we last couple times we played this, we played it competitively or whatever. Let's try doing it a different way, right? And so it does give you that option.
And that might speak to what kind of gamer you are too. Some people like competitive games and do not want to cooperate at all, and they like the back and forth of your opponents. Some people really love co-op and only want to do that version. And so at least this has the option of both at any given time. So
all right, so
I like that it's in there.
Boil it down, Eric. What do you think? Wrap it up.
I do recommend this game if you are of a person in this niche. This is a niche game in a kind of a niche of a niche.
If you're in those two slivers together, it's for you.
So first you gotta have to be a gamer and understand gamery concepts, be into it anyway, and then you have to also be into kind of area control and also subtle mechanisms and wanting to extract what you can from a game from multiple plays. I would say that would be the best way. So buyer beware. I would say make sure you're doing your research before you buy it.
But maybe even play it.
I would definitely try it.
Yeah.
Even if you think you may not like it, I would try it, and then that way you can confirm that fact too. But cool game, cool idea, not for everybody.
Yeah. I will say not for everybody. I think it is for me. I like it. I recommend it. I like it more. The more I think about it, the more I do like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Because I am in that double niche. And I'm a big fan of games that have simple concepts that lead to complex and interesting interactions. And I think this does that.
Right.
Things like Love Letter, I talk about that for the same thing. You have these tiny little, super simple turns, but the impact they have on the session of a game are huge.
That's the strongest part about this game.
And I really love games like that, and so I've very much enjoyed Wroth, and I look forward to playing it more and getting more out of what's in here, because there can be a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm right in the middle. I'm not sure that I could give a recommend, but I also don't not recommend it. I mean, I'm kind of right in the middle of it.
Yeah,
that if somebody got it out, I'd be like, okay. But it's not like if it's in a pile, I'm going to be like, ooh, let's play that one.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm kind of right in the middle of it. And I think kind of the opposite of you guys, where you said, you know, the more you thought about it, the more you liked it. Yeah. When I had that risk realization, I was like, oh,
all right.
It's kind of like Risk with brighter colors, you know? And so I guess I'm kind of trending down a little bit with it. But I wouldn't fight anybody that got it out to play it. So I certainly don't disrecommend it or tell people to stay away from it, but it's not like in my top 10. So there you go. So that is Wroth, a fairly new game that is out with a few differing opinions on it, and there you go.
Thanks for watching.
This is Evil Cheese.
Until next time,
signing off.
Stay out of brightly colored caverns.
Or get in there. Do some laser tag.
Or just be the Ooglin.
Yeah. There's Wroth.
And cut.